Oklahoma City Thunder select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga University.
What a pass. Giddey underneath for JRE. The reverse and the rookie-to-rookie action. SGA defended closely by Westbrook. Tough. Step back. Gets up the shot. Banks it in for the lead.
This is Dort. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested podcast. We're coming to you live Sunday, March 26th, 2 weeks away from the end of the NBA season. Boys, it has been a ride. We are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and dailythunder.com, and I am your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. I've got my guy, JD Silva, with me.
Fellas.
And we've got Nick Crane.
2 weeks till the end of the regular season. Will that be our final pod talking about basketball games? Or will that be
our final pod in general?
Final pod ever. The Uncontested ends in 2 weeks.
Went dark mode there.
We did.
I almost missed the intro because I was busy typing replies on Twitter because the official Thunder account has tweeted a 2-second video of Josh side-eyeing somebody, brushing the hair back, and doing some sort of like mouth motion and then a smirk. And so I had to reply and say, this video just got me pregnant.
That's what you call Riz.
There you go. There you go. Well, the Thunder did play a game tonight. It was ugly as hell, but it was a basketball game against the corpse of the Portland Trailblazers. The Thunder win the game 112-118. Should have been a much larger win, but the Thunder just kind of let the Blazers hang around. They made a great push in the second quarter, and then the Blazers came out. Specifically, Nasir Little came out in the third quarter and just decided that he was going to score everything.
And the Thunder mode.
Yeah, the Thunder in a fight down the stretch there. And poetically enough, Lou Dort gets a steal and a dunk to win the game.
Love it.
Very poetic. So let's start by talking about the Portland game tonight. Big takeaways. Typically in a post-game pod, we talk about like the takeaways, the game breakdown. We can kind of skip the game breakdown tonight, but some big takeaways from this game, things you saw, things that you were impressed with, concerns moving forward, etc.
I'll give the first. J-Dub, we all know how awesome he is. We watched him play his first game in a Thunder uniform. One of the first. We didn't see him in Salt Lake. We saw him in Vegas for Summer League. Have been enamored by him ever since. And I'm still waiting for a team. And we may see it next year with more scouting reports. I'm still waiting for a team to like have some sort of scheme defensively to slow down a guy like him, or like put a certain guy on him that matches. Like I haven't seen it. Whether it's a smaller, quicker guy and he uses his size, or a bigger guy uses his speed. He's just a walking mismatch, and we saw that time and time again tonight, especially early. And then he had a couple pretty significant plays late in the game. Just another game in which you have a rookie that was the difference. He wasn't the sole difference, but you do not win that game without J-Dub on the floor.
I was thinking the same thing about J-Dub and how he just hasn't really slowed down, and no one seems to be able to alter his game. There's so much like ingenuity and improv to what he's doing possession to possession, and I feel like that was on full display tonight when they needed it the most. Especially, he helped keep them in the game when they almost let it slip away. Thunder were asleep for a lot of this game, it felt like.
Yeah. One guy that I felt like did give J-Dub problems was Torrey Craig a week ago tonight, putting a bigger, more physical guy on him. I think affected Dub a little bit. Did not have a good game in Los Angeles, the final of 3 in Los Angeles against the Lakers a couple nights ago. But obviously bounced back tonight in a huge way. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 9 of 14 from the floor, 2 of 2 from 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. It's the efficiency that really just jumps off the page at you, right? Like the scoring has been awesome. I mean, shit, guys, if J-Dub for his career was like 25-4, I think we'd all be pretty happy with that. Like, well, maybe not now. Maybe now he set the bar too high. But earlier this season, we all would have been like crazy excited about that. And that's just like a run-of-the-mill stat line for him now. Nick, you've talked about this a lot, so I'm going to kind of pass this on to you. Two things about J-Dub has really jumped out to me recently and specifically tonight. Number one, the aggressiveness. He just kind of has a swag about him now that he knows he's really good, and he'll just ISO and blow by guys. And then number two, the athleticism. That dunk tonight was stupid, right? The one right down the lane off the Isaiah Joe pass. He had there was a play where the Thunder got called for like an offensive foul, and he had already cut baseline. So he caught the pass and did like this crazy like 180, like reach way out and dunk it type of, and it wasn't in the run of play, but still I was like, I didn't know he could do that. Like the athleticism, I feel like is really starting to make its way into the game.
The thing that sticks out to me with Dub the most, like if I boil it down to one word, would be space. Like defensively, he takes up so much space with his wingspan, and he does so many things on that end. And offensively, like if you watch him drive, every step he takes has got to be like 2 yards when he's going full. It's crazy. And you combine the long strides and the amount of space that he covers with each step, along with like the strength and the little skill finesse things, the kind of sky hook that we've seen, or the rise up and hit the jump over guy, or bodying his way in using either hand with his like ridiculous at the rim finishing percentages. It's just space with him. Like that's the one word that just keeps jumping at me. And that's something that you can't teach. And it's something that he has as a rookie, and it's insane.
Yes, it really seems like he has so many tools that are just intangible to who he is, and everything else that he doesn't have, like the volume 3-point shooting, are something that he's in a great spot to be able to improve.
Hey, I tweeted it tonight, 41% from three on over 3 attempts a game since February 1st, which is not a small sample size. And then 2 of 2 tonight.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see how many he takes next season. Like, does he take 2.5 a game next season, or is it more like 4.5 to 5.5?
If Dub's shooting 5.5 at a good clip, we might be talking like fringe all-star next season.
Next season?
Yeah.
If the Thunder what if the Thunder are like the 5 seed or something?
I mean, if he's, because yeah, you're a good point. So like whenever you're one of those top teams, you can generally get 2 guys in. If he's taking 5.5 threes, making 40% of them, tack on just marginal growth everywhere else this summer into next season, we're talking about a guy that's averaging 22, 6, and 5 on a good team that plays good defense. Like
Shaedon
Jalen
Sharp.
Brown, hello.
Yeah, Shaedon Sharp went off tonight, but there were some possessions where J-Dub was on Shaedon, and Shaedon would come off a screen. J-Will would drop like he always does. So Dub has to get over the top of the screen and try to recover. And Nick, you just mentioned those long strides, that long wingspan. He blocked a Shaedon Sharp jumper. He got back in front and made a like a really good play to force the ball out of Shaedon's hand, so he couldn't get to like his little mid-range jump shot. It was like you can see the flashes of potential, and the coaching staff always talks about J-Dub's defensive potential and how he can see things like a step or two ahead. His awareness is like sky high. That's like a side of the court where I think we're going to see a lot of growth from. Like if we just saw marginal growth on the offensive end, he's already a really good offensive player. But if he can push the needle on that defensive side of the ball, I mean, we're talking about a special wing player.
I've got to say, early in the season, I'm talking like 15 games in at most, was digging around Cerebro Sports. Shout out Derek Murray, friend of the pod. Great analytics. And Dub's DSI, which is like the defensive advanced stat that they have, was like really high for a rookie. And I was tweeting out like Dub is not getting enough attention for his defense. Like it's super underrated, has the long wingspan. And I got murdered on Twitter. Everyone was saying Dub sucks at defense. What are you talking about? You're a fool. Advanced stats suck. I just want to say hello to those people and thank you for listening.
I respect that, Nick.
Silva, another takeaway from tonight's game. Now that we talked about Dub for quite a bit.
We could talk about SGA and how he was once again excellent. Did tweak his ankle at the end of the game. I do wonder how that will affect things moving forward, if that's going to be a factor or if it's going to be all right with rest. He was hobbling around a little bit when he came back too. Didn't look like the same guy. Still was good, but yeah, I do wonder how that'll change things moving forward. We play Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday. So I definitely think he's gonna rest.
Before we talk about Shai's like on court performance, Joe Masato post game has the quote. Mark Daignault said Thunder Dr. Donnie Strack, quote, took a look at SGA and knew pretty quickly he could go back in. The biggest thing was not letting him sit too long, getting back out there and keeping it moving.
See,
okay.
I still a bit worried because you could see the pain. Like a lot of times with ankles, you see the guy like the classic tie their shoe tighter, keep going, and you don't generally like you. It's almost like the adrenaline and the movement that you keep having. Like you don't feel the pain till after, and we pretty clearly saw it during.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the team doctor knows a billion times more than I do about ankles and about Shai as an athlete, but that is a little bit concerning. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on how that might affect the back-to-back scenario, given who they're playing, and was the Lakers, I think this is the last back-to-back, so it may be a moot point, but like, was the Lakers a one-off, or is that actually something that he could do moving forward, and how does this affect that?
You got to assume it's going to swell up. That's what ankles do. They swell, right? You also got to assume he's going to get crazy treatment, try to get that thing right. Would I be shocked if they said he's not playing on Tuesday? No. Like, that wouldn't shock me. Or if he's questionable. I will tell you, it kind of scares me a bit considering the Hornets just beat Dallas back-to-back. I still think the Hornets suck, but that scares me a little bit. My assumption would be, like, he's going to play through it, and if he can go, he'll go. Worst case scenario, I think we see him Friday against the Pacers. I think that's worst case scenario.
I think Wednesday he plays. I think he has a huge game. And I think in the Gallo post-game interview, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander says, the doctors told me I was healing faster than anybody that ever seen with this injury.
What a good healer SGA is. Yeah, the Hornets weirdly have had, I saw Nikai Stunkin tweet that the Hornets have had like the best defense in the NBA since the All-Star break. So that's just kind of annoying, that being the next game. I'm still optimistic about that one if he does miss, but
so am I. I think they'll win it. They're at home.
Yeah. Hey, Lou Dort will shoot a good percentage since they're playing at home.
Okay. We'll get to Lou.
We will. But Nick, you asked the question about, like, do you think SGA is going to play that back-to-back, or if the Lakers thing was just a one-off? I kind of think the Lakers thing was a one-off because it's the Lakers and they're like right with OKC in the standings.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I think that was one that was like, we will regret if we look back and miss the plan by half a game or lose the tiebreaker to the Lakers, and that's the reason. And Shai sat. And I think Shai probably would feel the same way.
Yeah. For the night tonight, Shai 31 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, which is impressive. 9 of 17 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 13 of 15 from the free throw line. Just a foul merchant, really. That's all he is.
And that's okay. I'm okay with the foul merchant label because he leads the league in drives by so much. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not like 3 of his free throws are coming from the Chris Paul swing through that pissed everybody off, or the KD. It's
coming off downhill attacks to the rim.
Yep.
I mean, he leads the league in drives per game for like 3 straight years. Finally getting the respect of getting the whistle on contact in the lane. So, yeah, I mean, I thought he was phenomenal tonight as normal.
Can I make one more comment about the free throw situation?
Yeah,
That is a skill. Straight up, getting to the line is a skill. Obviously, as you become a superstar, you get more calls naturally. But like Giddey, if you're not a superstar, most guys take 2, 3, 4 years to start getting to the line with regularity. I've seen a lot of dub recently getting to the line.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
As a rookie,
More
you
recently, it's
you
gone
don't
up.
see those rookie whistles much.
See, in the lab with Shai, learning from him.
That's the next thing for Josh too. But
Yeah.
back to Shai, just real quick aside. Jaw has missed time and the gun stuff. Dame has been shut down. Luka doesn't even want to play basketball anymore. It only took 5 games with Kyrie for Luka to just want to end it all.
I don't want to be around anymore.
Is the odds of Shai getting first team All-NBA increasing right now? Considering how he is playing and considering the stuff around him?
I would say has been increasing. I'd say over the past week, probably not up or down, just kind of a plateau. I still think Dame and Steph are both going to have really, really good cases. Like voters are going to say, Dame, it was just like the last few. Steph's a little different because he missed in the middle, but I think whenever you do the math, Steph will probably end up playing the same amount of games as Dame. And I think he has a better case than Dame because if he gets the Warriors into the playoffs, with how bad they've been on the road this season and how much time he's missed, like super impressive. I don't know. It's really hard to say because we watch Shai every night and he's spectacular. But then you think about some of the Steph performances, the Dame performances.
Steph's awesome, but if Steph's missed more games and they get like the 5 seed and Shai plays more games, plays like 70 games, and let's say they make the playoffs through the play-in, and he just, I mean, I was going to say he didn't drug. Like there's been a ton of contributions all over the roster. But I mean, this is a team of a bunch of rookies and second-year guys. You know?
Steph's played 49 games.
This is going to sound ridiculous.
I mean, Dame's team is tanking.
Yeah. I think this is weird to say. Steph, I think, gets more first-team All-NBA votes. Shai, I think, gets more MVP votes, which is ass backwards.
Interesting.
But I think that's how it is.
You think SGA finishes in the top 5
Of MVP?
total MVP when it's all said and done? If the Mavs, because Luka is the assumed like 5th guy in that conversation with
Luka, Tatum,
Embiid, Giannis,
Mitchell.
Jokic. Yeah. With Luka and if the Mavs miss the playoffs entirely, I don't know.
It's tough.
It is tough.
it's going to be close. Hey, what a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember how often we had the conversation of, well, this team still needs to find its number 1 option. This team needs to find that number 1 scorer. Who's that going to be? How are they going to get that guy?
We had that as recently as September.
Yeah. And then
I think we had that like October when Shai had a meniscus injury and may not be playing to start the season. And holy crap, there's about to be another giant tank show in the Thunder start 0-5. And
Yep.
we were like, is Chet going to be the number 1 scorer on this team at some point? Like,
He could be.
You seen those ankles are looking bigger, Nick? I saw that picture you sent us.
the
on
calf
Slack.
looks bigger. That's for damn
Calf's
sure.
looking bigger.
My man's bulking.
He's going to be really, really, really good.
I just keep thinking about it, dude. Free 7.
Free 7.
Can we say it on the pod? ESPN injury report does not mean anything.
Yes. Stop falling for it, guys. It's been
Yeah.
when you read it, it says questionable 4 months ago.
Yeah. And the Thunder quite literally report directly to the NBA upwards of 12 to 15 times per day their active injury report, and they get fined if it's inaccurate or not detailed. And Chet is out on every single one.
He's not playing.
He's not playing.
I texted somebody today was texting with me about the Thunder. I told them I would be more shocked if Chet played this season than my shock from the Harden trade and the PG trade combined.
Yeah.
Like, that's how shocked I would be.
It's
Yeah.
just it's a lose-lose. Like if Chet goes out there, let's say he plays the play-in. First of all, it would be really hard for him to integrate in the system. Like as good of a player as he is,
Yeah.
as skilled as he is, that's tough. B, if he were to get hurt, like from a confidence,
Really
morale
bad.
standpoint, mental standpoint, like
Yeah.
it's just not a smart thing to do, and it's not going to happen.
But it's sometimes fun to think about. He comes in there and gets like 7 blocks and 25 points.
Well, if Eubanks can do it,
Oh my God.
We talked preseason, not to get completely sidetracked here. We talked preseason about how many wins could Chet add to this team. I'm trying to think the best way to word this. Like, the team made a much larger leap than we thought they would. And some of the games they have lost that are close ones, if you had a rim protector out there and a rebounder, it changes the entirety of the game. You know, like they probably beat the Los Angeles Lakers the other night if they have Chet out there. I mean, it's a 5-point loss and they just couldn't slow down the biggest guy on the court. I mean, you put some rim protection in there, completely changes the tone of the game. I think they're going to add him next year. There's going to be some growing pains to start, but once they hit the stride, I think it's going to get scary quick. I really do.
I do as well. I don't think there's any question. Like the floor of Chet is still a very helpful NBA player.
100%. Next takeaway from tonight's game, I guess I'll take one. You guys wanted to talk about J-Dub and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I'll talk about Josh Giddey, who went 7 of 12 from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3. He had 17, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, 2 blocks. Past couple of nights have been really impressive games from Josh Giddey. The passing was really on display tonight. The offense looks much better. The 3-point shot, I mean, tonight hit a big, wasn't like a dagger, but it was a very important shot in the game to really put it at an arm's length for the Blazers. The jump shot's looking better, especially off double teams where he just catches and shoots. I think Josh kind of gets slept on a little bit because Shai's having an all-NBA season and J-Dub is, just taking people by storm and just like blowing everybody's mind, which is awesome. Like, he deserves it. But I think underneath all of that, we kind of lose sight of what Josh has done this year, which is increased his scoring by 4 points per game, only taking 2 more shots a game. He's gone from 42% field goal shooting to 48. 3-pointers, he's gone from 26.3 to 32.4, a 6% increase.
And more recently has been way better than that.
Yeah.
Hit a big one tonight.
The rebounds and the assists and the steals and the blocks have all stayed pretty much the same. I think he's playing better defensively. And this all comes with him being higher up on the scouting report of other teams now. I've just been really impressed with these types of performances Josh has been putting together. Is he going to be an all-NBA level player? Like, if you had to take a bet right now, you'd say probably not. But is he going to be a really, really high-end starter and possibly an all-star in his career? Yeah. I mean, he's 20 years old. He's got a lot of room to grow, and he is showing that he's willing to put in the work. He's working on his shot. He's an incredibly smart player. Like, he's been really, really good, and I think he's a big reason why they've been playing so well down the stretch here.
I think it's big also that it doesn't appear that ego is going to be an issue with Josh as he slips further down on like shot attempts with a guy like J-Dub stepping up. Chet coming in next year is going to take more shots. Josh, I mean, if you want to say he's going to be like the 3rd or 4th option on the team, that's not an insult by any means. It's just a team filled with young talent, and naturally he's going to take less shots and have a, I guess, smaller role. But he's still, like you said, insanely important to this team moving forward. He's been really good. He said teams had the scouting report on him this year. And I mean, we noticed him go into a slump around the holidays. We saw him kind of get defended by teams that are larger, and he really struggled back when he was only taking like those awkward push shots for a while. Didn't seem like he was in a rhythm at all, but he's gotten way out of it, and it looks the best that he has all season, I think, right now.
Yeah, I think the point you made, Jacob, is that his impact has been underrated with the hype of Shai and Dub, and I agree like wholeheartedly. He's if Dub's not having the season that he's having with this like rookie of the year like push at the end and stuff, we would be talking about Josh differently. Not that he'd be playing differently per se, but just the fact that he's like the flavor of the month. It's been impressive. Like we love to talk about Dub versus this rookie class, but I think we've failed recently to talk about Dub versus his class. I still think he's a guy that you could argue third.
For Josh.
Yeah.
For Josh.
Yeah. Nick, I actually just pulled that up. He's fifth in his class right now for this season in points per game at 16.3. He's behind Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham. Cade doesn't even really count. He played 12 games. Franz Wagner and Evan Mobley. He's actually tied with Evan Mobley for points at 16.3. He's shooting 48.5% from the field. As far as non-bigs, the only ones that are shooting better are Austin Reeves and Franz Wagner. 3-point percentage of that top 10 on points. The only ones that are better at threes are, well, there's actually, I think, a lot of them. Bones, Reeves, Trey Murphy III. Who else is on this list? And Franz Wagner. That's it. Those are the only ones shooting better from three than he is. And then you look at like the assists. He's number one in assists at 6.1 per game. You look at the rebounds. He is third. The two guys ahead of him are Mobley and Şengün.
Yep.
I didn't know this. He is the leading rebounder for the Thunder this season. Do you guys know how much he is ahead of number 2? Have you looked this up by chance?
2?
So when you look at total rebounds for the Thunder this season, Josh Giddey is number 1 at 7.9.
Total rebounds.
Well, rebounds per game. I'm sorry.
I'd say 2.
Josh
is 7.9. He's number 1. Who's number 2?
Is it SGA?
Shai is number 4 at 4.8.
Jay Will?
Jay Will is number 5. He's tied with Shai at 4.8 per game.
Poku?
Poku is number 2 at 5.1.
Okay.
So Josh is averaging 3 rebounds more per game than the second place guy. Third place guy is Kenrich Williams.
Where's Dario at?
3 is Kenrich, 4 Shai, 5 Jay Will, 6 J Dub, 7 Dort, 8 Robinson Earl. Dario is 12th.
What's he averaging?
3.1.
That's not good.
Darius, no, sorry, not Darius. JRE, Lou, J Will, J Dub, Shai, and Kenrich are all averaging between 4.4 and 4.9 rebounds per game. So very, very similar across the board.
It's interesting. I mean, that's what happens when you don't have a true center. Like, it's going to be more of a by committee, and you're going to have, I mean, Josh is a great rebounding guard. I don't care if you have a 7'4" Zach Edey playing 40 minutes a game. Like, he's still going to get rebounds.
He's always in the right place.
Yeah.
He's really good at offensive rebounds too, I think.
Yeah.
Just being in the right spot, knowing where the ball's coming off. Other big takeaways from tonight. I think we can talk about maybe the duality that is Lou against Dort and Isaiah Joe, and how different those two have been on the offensive end.
Yeah.
Good grief.
My girlfriend, who does not watch basketball like consistently at all, was just kind of passively watching it on the living room TV. She was like, has Isaiah Joe missed like this entire game? She watched during that. I think it was the second quarter.
When he he is not.
Yeah, no, he does not miss really ever. Isaiah's a real gem to have. He was much needed tonight with Lou Dort having going 2 of 14 from the field. It's just really, really tough. Is Lou Dort like You know how he's like if the Warriors' road struggles were just a single player, that is Lou Dort right now. He's really that tweet that you posted. I think it was yesterday, Jacob, was kind of wild to look at as far as his splits.
Oh yeah, his splits as far as home versus road.
Yes, I have the tweet. You want me to read it?
Yeah, I'm actually pulling up those stats again right now, so I can just read them off. They may be updated now.
Cool.
For you want the entire season or since the All-Star break?
Go since the All-Star break.
Since the All-Star break. Let's see here. How do I get to since the All-Star break? Okay, you go ahead and read it. No, I found it. I found it.
NBA.com?
Post All-Star break. There we go. Home versus road splits for Lou against Dort. Since the All-Star break, at home, he shoots 42.6% from the field and 40% from three. On the road, he shoots 25% from the field and 20% from three.
Do we think is it a confidence thing?
I don't think so because he shoots so many of them. If it was a confidence thing, he wouldn't shoot as many. Tonight, he should have taken like 2 shots. Now, no, to be fair, some of the early ones were in good rhythm. The Blazers were running a zone tonight, especially in the first half. And Josh was picking it apart and finding those cross-court passes to ended up being Dort, who was open on the backside of the zone, wide open from 3, and just missed them. Those shots are fine, right? Like, those are shots you live with. Those are wide open shots, catch and shoot. The ones you can't live with was like tonight he had the one where he went off the dribble, drove in, bumped off somebody, got to the free throw line, like kind of like leaned and like flicked up a shot and just like missed everything. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Or late in the game with like a minute and a half left, he pulls up from 3 with 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. And I'm like, my brother in Christ, you are 1 of 11 right now. Like, you do not need to be shooting that with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. It's bad. I understand defensively how much he adds. Like, I'm not trying to take away from Lou. I know what he adds to the team. It's just really hard to watch sometimes.
I would have felt exponentially better about his game tonight, even if he was just 2 of 6. Just 2 of 6, 2 of 8. I wouldn't have felt that bad. But it's the fact that it's 14. It's like that conversation about the James Harden versus Russell Westbrook. Sometimes James Harden, if he's having an inefficient night, will just stop taking shots. But Lou Dort has the Russell Westbrook mindset, except he's not a superstar. He's going to keep taking shots, even if it's really bad for the team.
My dad called me after the game tonight, and he said, well, aren't you supposed to shoot yourself out of a slump? And I was like, that's a really bad plan for this guy. He's been doing this all season long. Like, it's really hard to watch. The decision-making just sticks out like a sore thumb when you got guys. The rest of that starting lineup are very quick and efficient decision makers. And then you have Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of sticks out.
It can work if his role is a lot more limited than it is now.
It naturally will be.
Maybe off the bench.
But
then, like, at the same time, if your style of play top to bottom is high level efficient offense that's fluid, ball moves well, good decision making, Lou naturally kind of becomes the primary guy with the bench unit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that who you want?
Because he's not like that.
Is that who you want leading the second unit? Or is he better off with a bunch of guys that can do that? You know what I mean? Like, I get the idea of like starting Joe and benching Lou to see how it fits, but my opinion is Lou kind of needs to be with a Shai or with a Dub because you don't want him to be.
He can still be out there with one of those guys.
Yeah.
Off the bench.
Do some staggering.
But Silva just mentioned in a lesser role, but the fewer starters he's with, the bigger his role will be while he's on the floor.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I don't know. Something's got to give. Like, it's been very bad. Someone in the comments earlier, I don't know where it's at, Silva, if you want to dig through there and find it, mentioned his shoulder surgery over the summer.
Yeah.
And maybe that plays a role in him not shooting as well. David had it. Maybe that's maybe that's something. But here's the thing: is like somebody posted this on social media the other day. He's in like the second or third percentile at finishing at the rim. That's
not
bad.
good. Yeah, not good at all. And I feel like we've seen him be much better at driving before, but for whatever reason,
I mean,
he's
he
in the
can't
tank.
make anything right now.
No.
It's worth noting
I'm
he is a better 3-point shooter than he's ever been in his entire career this season. It's a career year from 3, although it does not feel like it.
It does not.
It does not.
I'm just happy he made the dunk at the end. I was a little worried.
Yeah.
Slack it off the backboard.
It was bad. Flip side of that, Isaiah Joe tonight, guys. 5 of 12 from the field, 5 of 10 from 3, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals.
Crazy.
He's just making his impact felt everywhere. Like, what a success story for the Oklahoma City to pick this guy up in free agency because he got cut by his team. Bring him in, give him a fair shake like they give everybody a fair shake. Didn't pigeonhole him. And now, like, Silva, I forget which podcast it was. It's a couple weeks ago. You and I think it's the Mailbag Pod.
Mm-hmm.
You and I put players into like 3 tiers. They're staying around. We like them and they have potential. And then the 3rd tier was like they're fine, but they may not be around because of roster cut.
Yep.
Like Isaiah Joe's climbing some tiers.
You're totally right.
He's knocking some people down below him because of how well he's playing.
Yeah, and I'm super curious if this is just a 1-year efficiency spike for Isaiah Joe, if this is like a lightning in a bottle situation. But he's done it basically since he got to Oklahoma City. He's just gotten a larger role.
And it's not just the efficiency stuff. It's all the little things.
It's
the defense.
Off the dribble stuff really surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
He can make decisions in this offense. 5 assists kind of came out of nowhere tonight. He's a lot more than just a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah, that I've noticed the same. Early in the season, that's exactly what he was, as a catch and shoot guy. And more recently, he's got a really, really, really good knack of stopping on a dime. Like, he'll pump fake, drive the lane, stop. Defender keeps going. He pulls up, smooth as butter jumper. Like, that's been a new piece of his game I didn't know really existed because he didn't really play in Philly. Like, you got to go watch G League or Arkansas tape.
We saw him in Vegas.
Yeah.
I vividly remember that.
Yep.
Really
he
weird.
was his rookie season, going into his rookie season, he was in Vegas, and same thing. Like, when you watch a guy play and you're like, that's a player right there.
Yeah.
Justin and I sitting there were like, Isaiah Joe's good. How did he go in the second round? I think he's like 44, 45, something like that.
Yeah.
So, your girlfriend who doesn't watch basketball, if that's the guy she notices, he's good.
Like, who the hell is that guy? Yeah,
right.
He just
hits
all of his shots. It feels good to have just a guy is going to make threes. Thunder really haven't had that guy.
It's so underrated for coming back into games too. Like,
yeah, it is.
You're stagnant or you're down 15. Isaiah Joe gets you back within 6 or 7. And he lets the rest of the guys do the work. Like, it's a super underrated skill.
And
he's been really good, man.
It's not a situation like a Duncan Robinson or a Davis Bertans where they play like zero. Like, they're not good defenders. I don't think Isaiah Joe is he's not a horrible defender. He's like serviceable.
Nor is he paid $20 million a year.
That too, and he has multiple years left, so it's not like a contract year performance from him. I'm optimistic.
Big boost off the bench for the Thunder, Isaiah Joe. Other guys tonight, Lindy Waters was a late scratch, so we did get some Trey Mann minutes. Just 30 seconds, quick Trey Mann thoughts.
Played really hard. Was in it.
Good grief. For those on the pod that are not live and listening the next day, we got some good comments in here. Silva, watch your girl.
Oh my God.
For me, Trey Mann, still just kind of confused. Speaking of like podcast preseason, talking completely differently about Shai and about some of these guys. On the flip side, we were talking about the Trey Man breakout season, and holy crap, he's bulked up, and that dude's a legit 6'5", and he's worked on this and that and the other. He's been in Miami working out. Haven't seen it.
No.
Have not seen it. We've talked a lot about this game. Anything else you guys want to touch on this game before we move on?
No, I mean, ugly as hell, but the way they came out so flat, I think you still have to feel good and positive about a win like that, given how bad it was early. Like
at this point in the season, it's just win and move on.
And every dude on that floor is an NBA player. Like it's a win. You take it.
5th game in 7 nights. 4th game on the road before you come home. Like you take a win.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, let's take a break. And then on the other side of the break, we'll talk a little more big picture Thunder basketball. All right, gentlemen. One other Thunder specific thing I wanted to talk about is the big man rotation. Because I think it's going to get kind of interesting these last 7 games. Is it 7?
Yep.
7 games left. Jay Will has been getting the start for, feels like forever now. I get the vibe that that's not going to change. JRE has come back from the injury, and he played a little bit and was awful, and then he got benched for a while, and now he's back, and the past 2 games have been pretty good. Like, he's done well the past 2 games, against the Lakers and now against Portland. So you got JRE back in the mix. Poku is now healthy and back with the team. Still ramping back up. Be interesting if we see him during the back-to-back at home this week on Tuesday, Wednesday. And then you've got Dario Saric, who is basically just racking up DNPs right now. Has played very spotty in a couple games, but whenever he first got here, I was like, oh my God, they're going to bring him back. He's playing great. This is exactly what they're looking for. To not getting minutes at all, which I think is really interesting. I mean, I think back to that Warriors game at home. He was instrumental in that. And then now just can't even sniff the court. So 7 games left, plus possibly play-in games and playoff games. What happens with the big man rotation?
Are you talking short term, as in the next 7 games exclusively, or are you talking in a playoff rotation?
Yes, both.
Ah, okay. Makes it a lot harder.
So she said.
I think the Poku dynamic is super interesting because pre-injury, if you would have said of all the guys you just listed, who's getting the minutes, we all would have said Poku hands down. Now it's I don't know. Jay Will's got a strap from 3. He can be kind of an offensive hub. He's not Şengün. I hate saying the name on this podcast. But he's not Şengün where you can kind of run an offense through him, but he's a connector. He can catch at the free throw line, survey, find a cutter, kick it back out. He does things offensively that's really interesting. Dario I thought was great until he wasn't playing because JRE was. And Jacob mentioned JRE was horrible for a little bit. Have not been super impressed with JRE at all since he's come back, to be frank. There's been spots and moments where he's been okay. So I'd say in a playoff rotation, that would be 2 weeks out. Poku's back integrated. I think Poku gets a lot of center minutes. I think Jalen Williams, Jay Will gets played off the floor and or does not see the floor. And I think Dario plays. I guess super long story short, Dario and Poku are the 2 guys that get minutes at center in my eyes in a playoff rotation. Over the next 7 games, I think it's a lot of exploration trying to figure out who can play where and then integrating Poku.
That's interesting. You go Poku and Dario, 2 guys who 2 weeks from the end of the season are not playing minutes right now.
Yeah. One is injury related. The other, I don't. Has there been? Have I missed a quote from Mark or something about why Dario just has not been playing?
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything either.
He was the perfect fit. Love Mike Muscala. Love Mike Muscala. Dario, from like a fit and a numbers, and like he was doing just as good, if not better, than Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He
The
was
connection stuff, the passing.
He always makes the right extra pass. He's very slow. He's got heavy feet. Not a great defender, but like neither was Mike really. I don't know. Like I'm confused why Dario's not playing. Like the dude pre-ACL was on a Suns team in the finals getting minutes. Like he knows how to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know, and I also don't know what I have no idea what the big man rotation would be in the playoffs. The regular season, I can kind of guess that it's going to be just a stew of everyone involved here. I think they're going to try and work Poku back in, but I don't know if Poku would play in the playoffs. Like I don't know how ready he is to get back into playing full games, especially at playoff intensity. Poku in the playoffs, that's a fun concept to think about.
And it's also interesting to think about, I think playoff wise matchups play a role, right? If they play Denver, like I think J. Will and JRE are getting minutes.
I think that's
if
fair.
they play Memphis, Thunder might go no center for most of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no Brandon Clark and there's no Steven Adams.
Mm-hmm. I do think it's interesting, just as a note on that Mark definitely seems like more of a coach that's willing to experiment and adapt in the playoffs rather than the last couple coaches the Thunder have had, and Scott Brooks for more of that, where your lineup is your lineup and you're just gonna have more heart than the other team and you're gonna try and win that way. But like you were saying, I think Mark would be more willing to switch things up, try things, go small, go big, whatever it takes to win. So I don't know.
It's going to be fun to see. I think that's like the biggest roster question down the stretch here is what does the big man rotation look like?
Could have been Kendrick Williams at the 5.
Yeah, could be J-Dub at 5. I don't know.
Yep. Hey, I think they should have went J-Dub at 5 to close the Lakers game. For sure. Let him guard AD. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Can't get worse than it was.
Exactly. All right. Well, speaking of rotations and going into postseason play, the West is a damn bloodbath. Like, it is stupid. Things change nightly. The standings tonight will not be the standings tomorrow. Like, I can guarantee you that.
I mean, quite literally, the Warriors and Timberwolves are playing as we speak. It's fourth quarter, 2 minutes, 1 point game. Your two favorite players, Kat and Draymond Green, just collided, and Draymond Green's on the ground, and they're assessing a technical, I believe. This is all no sound, watching inverted on the stream on the TV behind me.
I love it. So, Silva, I think what we should do, we like to talk about how the seedings are going to end. Let's make predictions on the play-in, the 7 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
But let's dig a little bit deeper than just choosing numbers. So do you have schedules for these teams pulled up?
I do. Do you want like a screen share thing going on, or do you just want me to go through the matchups?
Whatever you want, bro.
All right, we'll just go through the matchups. You want to start with like where Utah is right now? Do we consider Utah to be a part of this group?
Yeah, so let's do right now in 7th, we have the Pelicans, 8 the Timberwolves, 9 the Lakers, 10 the Thunder, 11 the Mavs, and 12 the Jazz. That's 6 teams. 4 are getting in, 4 are out.
Yeah.
So let's just go from 12 up to 7.
Okay.
Look at their schedules and decide how they're going to end the season.
All right. The Jazz, it's gonna be tough for them.
They're
Monday,
currently 35 and 39.
Thank you. On Monday, tomorrow, they play the Phoenix Suns, and then they'll play the Spurs, and they play the Celtics, then the Nets.
Okay, give us the games in like 3 game stretches, and Nick and I will choose records.
Okay, first stretch: Phoenix, Spurs, Celtics.
1 and 2, Nick?
Yeah, for sure.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Next 3: Nets, Lakers, Thunder.
2 and 1.
Oh wow, I was gonna go 1
Really?
and 2 again.
Either one. Last 2.
Hold on, we got to choose.
Ooh.
2-1 or 1-2, Nick? Nets, Lakers, Thunder.
2-1. Like none of those teams are like, wow, pencil that as a loss.
Nick wants 2-1. All right.
I mean, which one of those teams are you just like super confident in?
I more so just think the Jazz are trying to lose. Like I think they're kind of trying to.
I look at
Yeah,
those
okay.
two. You say there's not like one team that you're just like, oh my God, they're going to smoke them. I look at those three that like they're all solid teams that the Nets might struggle or the Jazz might struggle with.
For sure. But we thought the Hornets would struggle with the it's the NBA, dude. Like
Sure.
anytime there's 3 games where it's like anything could happen.
You win this one. We got them at 2-1.
Okay. So we went 1-2 in the first 3, 2-1 in the next 3.
Uh-huh.
Last 2 are against the Nuggets and the Lakers. Again,
0-2.
Home or road?
one of each. Nuggets at home, Lakers on the road.
I'll go 0-2 because if they're really going to tank it out, those are going to be the 2 games.
I lost audio. Are you guys still here?
Still got you.
Uh-oh, I still don't have audio.
Uh-oh.
We got you. Silva, you and I will just go solo.
We're riding solo till Jacob is back. Should we move on? Do we want to say anything else about the Jazz, who are in 12?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory there. Post double mega trade this summer, they had a lot of fun pieces. Some of those pieces have been sent out, but like they're still one of those teams that's like super fun top to bottom, especially late in the season. Even if they're playing, they're guys that are like 9 through 15 in the rotation.
Mhm.
They're not guys like we've seen other tanking teams in the past. It's not these guys that Thunder brought in on 10 days, right? It's
No.
actual guys that it's going to be Ochai Agbaji. It's going to be guys that are fun and they'll still be halfway competitive.
Yeah, they're more in like the Chris Paul Thunder year than the straight tank year, which is probably going to be next year for them.
Totally.
So I missed it. What are we going on the last 2 on the Jazz?
0-2.
0-2.
So they go 3-5 to close the year. Would put them at 38-44. Next
And
team, Silva.
Out. Next team we have the Dallas Mavericks. It's important to note that Luka picked up his 16th technical tonight and will be suspended for the next game. Funny enough, he picked up that technical against the Hornets. Their next game, wait a minute, this is not updated. They played the Hornets, so he got it tonight. They played the Hornets twice in a row.
Yep.
Yeah, lost them both. Wow.
They're 36-39 right now.
Yep. So they'll play the Pacers tomorrow. So the first 3 game stretch we'll go over. Pacers, Sixers, Heat.
Oof.
Yeah. Isn't Kyrie also tweaked up or injured in some way?
He's been in and out.
Is that 1-2, Nick?
It's 1-2.
Okay, 1-2. Then we have the next. Okay, so there's only 4 games left.
So give us
for
the
them.
last 4 then.
Okay, Hawks, Kings, Bulls, Spurs.
They're so hard to predict because
They've been so bad too. Like I almost say 2-2 there.
they've been so bad, but also like if they get to a point, like let's say last 3 games, they're pretty much out of it. They also have to consider their picks top 10 protected. So like, do you sit your guys at that point? Like, hypothetically, if they're
that's fair.
mathematically in the playoff race, it's in your best interest to just lose your last 3 games outright and get your top 10 protected pick.
Mm-hmm.
Which would how would Kyrie and Luka feel about that when Kyrie's due for a new contract and Luka's already unhappy? Like it's going to be a weird dynamic. I still go 2-2 there with Jacob. I agree.
Okay, so we'll go 2-2, and that's the end of their schedule, right, Silva?
Correct.
So that's 3-4. We have them going 39-43.
Things
Not
will get
good.
bad in Dallas quickly from a roster building standpoint.
You know, it's so crazy that if Luka were to ask out that like there's this team just a few miles up north with a shit ton of picks that would welcome a generational superstar.
Let's talk about that team, Silva. Number 10 in the West.
The Oklahoma City Thunder. They okay, so they played the Blazers tonight. So we have
Currently 37-38.
Correct. Next 3. No. Yes. Next 3: Hornets, Pistons, Pacers.
2-1,
baby.
I'm going to push back this time, Nick.
Okay.
You won the last fight. I'm going to say 3-0. Those two at home, you should definitely win. That Pacers one, the Pacers currently like 3.5 back from the playoffs, I think, or from the play-in. I got it right here. Hold on. 3.5 back from the Bulls after today, after that
Is
Bulls
Hallie
win today.
playing?
He's been injured. I don't know if he's playing right now or not. They have, and we're going to talk about this in our predictions for the week here in a second, but that game is next Friday. Between now and then, the Pacers have the Mavericks and the Bucks. If they don't gain any ground, they might be pulling the plug that last week of the season as well. There's a chance that that Pacers game is against the B squad.
I could just see an Andrew Nimhard 30-10 game.
I
could
want
just see it.
3-0. You want 2-1. Silva, you're the
We'll
tiebreaker.
take 3-0. Silva said 3-0.
All right, 3-0.
Yeah. All right. We can do the final 4 again. Suns, Warriors, Jazz, Grizzlies.
Mm.
I'm stuck between 1-3 and 2-2 here.
I'm leaning 1-3. That's going to be Katie Suns.
KD and Ayton.
Where are the? Can someone refresh me on where the Grizzlies are at? Are they still fighting? Are they still within reach of the Kings for 2, or like where are they sitting? Are they going to be?
The Grizzlies are currently 2. They're 2 games up on the Kings.
2 games up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
That's
it was
the
a lot
last game of the
closer.
season.
That could be interesting.
Did Cat just hit a game winner?
No, there's 9 seconds left. We'll see. The Wolves are up 2 though on Golden State. Speaking of Golden State's the game, I think the Thunder lose in that stretch as well. They just
Yeah.
the Warriors have their number. I don't know if it's a matchup thing or a Kerr thing or if they found some like loophole. Thunder just they can't even hang with these dudes this year. I'm gonna go 1-3.
I don't like it, but I'll give it to you. 1-3. When
You
make
don't
the
like
Thunder
it, but you
finishing
agree with it.
4-3, which would be 41-41.
That's
Okay.
awesome. That's freaking awesome.
That's insane.
That's really, really good. All right.
All right, Silva. So our next team is
The New Orleans Pelicans. We got,
Yuck.
3-game stretch: Blazers, Warriors, Nuggets.
they're currently 37-37. Say that stretch again.
Blazers, Warriors, Nuggets.
That's 1-2.
Feels like 1 and 2 to me.
Yeah, I'll take it.
No, Zion like reevaluated in a week and a half or something like that.
Yeah, he's
So,
not playing.
Last game of the season. He's not playing.
Nope. We'll do next 3: Clippers, Kings, Grizzlies. Ooh,
That's tough.
it's really tough.
1-3 again.
You have a.
I feel like 1-3 is
Ooh-wee.
being nice to him.
1-2, you mean?
1-2. I'm sorry.
The last 7 games are kind of nuts for the Pelicans: Warriors, Nuggets, Clippers, Kings, Grizzlies, Knicks, Timberwolves.
We'll put it this way: if they make the play-in, clap it up. Congratulations, he deserved it.
Yeah.
So that second 3 was, what was it again? Clippers.
Clippers, Kings, Grizz.
But then you said Timberwolves was the 4th.
No, it's weird. So there's that 3-game stretch:
Uh-huh.
Clippers, Kings, Grizzlies, and they have 2 more after that: Knicks, Timberwolves.
Oh, I mean, still, that's not fun either.
So in that 5-game stretch, where do they go, Nick? 2-3?
2-3.
I think 2-3 is being really nice.
Yeah.
And they're not a bad team. Like with Zion aside, they've been horrible recently, but like they still got talent. Like 2-3.
40-42 for the Pelicans.
Okay.
We got, what, 2 more left, Silva?
2 more.
Okay, let's do it.
The
LA
Lakers, who did they lose tonight?
Yes, the Lakers are
37
currently
this
at
afternoon. They lost
37-38.
this
37-38. Yep. So let's go. Let's do a 4-game stretch here to start.
Okay.
Bulls, Timberwolves, Rockets, Jazz,
That might be 3-1, Nick.
Yeah, 3-1. LeBron back. Yeah.
LeBron James. We got
LeBron James.
and then this 3-game stretch to end it. Clippers, Suns, Jazz.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yep.
41 and 41.
Woo.
Wow.
That tiebreaker. Go Lakers. They're up.
Thunder and Lakers having the same record to end the season. It's pretty funny.
Sucks they have the tiebreaker.
I know.
Yeah.
And the last one is the Timberwolves, who just won.
4 seconds left. Down 2.
As much as I hate Rudy Gobert, Warriors are down 2.
Yep, and they just fouled. So McDaniel's going to the line to try to cap it off.
Wow. All right.
Let's call this one a win.
All right.
Okay.
So that puts them at 38 and 37.
Okay.
Good for them, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this 3-game stretch. Kings, Suns, Lakers. Ooh-wee.
Ooh, 1 and 2.
Okay.
All right. And then 4 games after that. Blazers, Nets, Spurs, Pelicans.
3 and 1.
Blazers, Nets, Spurs,
Did he miss them? Did he? Okay, he missed the first one.
Pelicans.
Missed the first. Yeah, I think 3 and 1 there. Ants coming back. They're going to work some magic. They're going to be a fun team. We saw them last year towards the end. Like 3 and 1. Give it to
Okay,
them.
I messed up. Did we do 4 games at the start?
We
Are we
did
missing a
3.
game?
We did
The game you're missing is the one they're playing right now.
No, I already added that in here.
They're 37 and 37 now.
And I just gave them 38 for tonight's
And
win.
then Silva went through 7 games.
I only have 6 written down. What were the 7? Which one did I miss?
After tonight, it's Kings, Suns, Lakers,
We said 1 and 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Blazers, Nets, Spurs, Pelicans.
We said 3 and 1 there.
Yep.
42 and 40.
Good for them. After the Gobert trade, it's probably still not what they expected, but
Cat missed like 50 plus games, right?
yeah, like you still got to be happy with just making it. There's a chance they wouldn't, which would have been horrendous.
That would make the play-in 7th seed with a home game, Minnesota, versus 8th seed on the road with the tiebreaker, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yep.
The 9th seed with a home game would be the OKC Thunder.
Oh,
The 10th seed coming to OKC. Either if you lose, you go home. If you win, you play one more. The New Orleans Pelicans.
Question.
Mavs and Jazz missing.
This is a thought exercise for the listeners. I think what this tells you is how important these next 3 games are. So
Nick made us go 2 and 1 for the Thunder. If they go 3 and 0,
right, then you could
slide
lose.
up.
So there's obviously a billion moving parts. Like teams could go on a run, they could lose out. There's so many different things. But if they were to go 3 and 0 this week and lose their last 4, they'd have the same record as what we predicted. So what that means is that in this hypothetical world of, the teams that we expect to win and teams that they expect to do, that it actually happens, then winning these next 3 games might guarantee you a spot in the play.
yeah, and it could bump you up a seed.
Yeah.
things are like legitimately bleak for the Mavericks. I don't think I realized how close they were to just falling out of the play-in entirely.
It's bad. It's really bad. But they got the talent. Like they could rattle off like 5 wins out of their next.
Well, they've
7.
got 2 guys. The rest of their guys are like 8th or 9th men. Really,
I think that's a little exaggeratory, but yes,
they're like 3 and 14 in their past 17 games, something like that.
it hadn't been good. Like Kyrie's been on a lot. Luka's been on a lot. When they're both in, they don't win games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what? They got no draft capital. They got no cap space.
How do you guys feel with a 9-10 matchup? New Orleans coming to Oklahoma City.
Is Zion playing?
No.
He's being reevaluated like a couple days before the end of the season. That doesn't mean he's going to play. I'm basing my decision there on all that we know, the previous experience, which is Zion's not going to play.
He's such a weird injury guy. Like,
what's more likely, Zion gets healthy and plays that game, or has another setback in the next week and a half?
I thought you were going to say, or Chet plays. Probably setback, because the dude, like, he didn't go to the All-Star game because he was like still rehabbing, and it was supposed to be like he comes back shortly after. Now we're at the end of the season, he's still not. Like, it's just every year it happens. It's this injury where it's like reevaluated in 3 weeks.
Will push back on you and like talk shit to you all day long about Zion. All we have to go off is what we know. And what we know is this dude's going to play 30 to 40 games this season.
But he's so good when he plays. He is.
He's like a second team All NBA guy when he plays, but
he's got to play.
Yeah. I don't know what.
As of right now, it's looking like he's not. Like, if I had to make a bet right now, if you made me choose one side or the other, I'm saying he's not in the league in 3 years. Because he's just
not
hurt.
In the league?
Yeah, he has to stop playing because he's so injured.
Oh, I thought you were saying because like no team would pick him up. I was like, what?
No, just he's never going to play, and it's going to be like a Greg Oden thing where he's got to retire. You guys still didn't answer the question. How do you feel about Pelicans visiting OKC?
Thunder are good at home.
The Pelicans are also a tough matchup for OKC sometimes with a lot of the length of their defenders. But I would probably, if Zion's not playing, I got to pick OKC at home.
Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum.
The crowd would be.
And CJ has like some nagging hand injuries, so that feels good.
Let's say the Thunder win that Pelicans game. Who are you pulling for in the Lakers-Minnesota matchup? Thunder got to go on the road to one of those two places.
I mean, I don't like the idea of playing a team with two dominant centers when you don't have a center. The flip side of that is
two is
the
bold.
flip side of that
is insane, Nick. You can't say they have two dominant centers.
I mean, we're talking about a guy that won 3 straight Defensive Player of the Years, and a guy that was a perennial All-Star. Like, as much as we hate,
one is dominant on one end, one is dominant on the other end.
So
how about that?
Dominant.
I got to be honest. Neither of those matchups feel great because you got LeBron James playing in the other one with
LeBron
AD.
James and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I'd probably rather play against the Timberwolves in one game.
Too.
In one game, yeah, probably.
You just lean into small ball and make them adjust.
Yeah.
Do you throw out like Dub at the 5 and just say, hey, like pack the paint, get dunks all night long, but we're gonna hit threes and run the floor?
Well, we've seen how the Thunder defend bigs when they go small. We're just going to swarm you and make you get the ball out of your hands, make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
if they want to feed Rudy Gobert, be my guest.
We in the modern NBA,
give that guy 20 touches a game.
2s lose to 3s every time.
Mm-hmm.
Give Isaiah Joe 10 shots and give Rudy Gobert 10 shots, and they probably end up with the same amount of points.
It's going to be tough down the stretch.
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
I would much rather prefer the Thunder just go 3-0 this week and get 7 or 8 and have a chance to just go win one game and you're in.
Yeah.
So I got to do
it'd be way nicer to, I mean, having the difference between 7 and 8 and then 8 and 9 is ridiculous. Like, you are 2x the likelihood of making the playoffs because you have to win one game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the fallback where you can like win the second game.
Yeah, needing to win one of 2, like, I much rather prefer that.
I'm going to be so anxious.
That Lakers game was humongous.
It was a big one.
Yeah.
They were right there, too. Just couldn't get over the hump.
Yep.
All right, Silva, we want to go through the comments before we're done tonight.
Yeah, let's.
A lot of people in the stream.
A lot of people on the stream. Let's see. A lot of memeing, a lot of degenerate stuff going on. Someone said, "Don't say Şengün's name 3 times in a row, otherwise he'll appear on the Thunder roster." Okay, I'm looking for questions. There's a lot of arguing in the comments today. A lot of Dort arguments going on.
Should we turn the argument, like what are they arguing about, into a question that we give our thoughts on?
Well, it's stuff like, would Josh be a good 6th man?
No.
Yeah.
That's the answer to that question. No.
This is a good one from David Skelton. If we draft someone like Jarris Walker, how do you not drop Dort to the bench?
I'm not convinced Dort just doesn't go to the bench anyways.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm
Like,
with you there.
what if the starting lineup next year is Shea, Dub, Josh, Poku, Chet?
Yeah, between Poku and or like really any. This is the cool thing about Dub. They could draft Jarris Walker. They could draft Cam Whitmore. They could draft Taylor Hendricks. One of those guys could start at the 4. Dub starts at 1, 2, or 3. On the flip side, Sam could say, you know what? We're here at 16. Keontae George is well worth the 16th pick, even though he's a guard. Guess what? You throw him in the starting lineup and Dub goes to the 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I think irrespective of who they draft, between that guy or Poku or somebody else, there's a really good
Ousmane
chance Dort's not start. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of options that Dort's not starting next year. Dort may not be on the team to start next year.
Another question from our friend Kerry Cicero. This question has no reasoning, he says, but I was listening to the Hornets Mavs, and the Hornets announcer was calling SGA Shai Gilgeous. If he dropped the hyphen, would you rather be Shai Gilgeous or Shai Alexander?
Okay, so Kerry, you're reading my mind. Living in Dallas, I don't get the Thunder broadcast. I have League Pass, so I always get to hear the opposing broadcast. Almost every night, it's either Shai Gilgeous or it's Shai Alexander. And there's never a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
SGA, but we're not going to tell you what the A is.
I think Shai Gilgeous sounds more natural because at least it's like Shai. We say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You're just dropping off the Alexander. When you say Shai Alexander, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
We'll let Nick be the professional on that question.
I mean, think about it. Like if someone walked up to you at the grocery store and said, "What do you think about Shai Alexander?" You'd say, "Who?" But if they said, "Hey, what do you think about Shai Gilgeous?" Like you would know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting.
Shai Alexander sounds like a football player to me and not a basketball player.
Like a football player.
Yeah.
Playing for that crappy team Chelsea.
Oh my God.
Yanni has a pretty good comment here. The Hornets have such a huge gap between them and the Pistons and them and the team directly ahead of them that there's no way they catch the Pistons. I think it's mathematically like already out of the question. So there's no reason for them to tank.
Fair.
Well, it's more than just the Pistons because we're not talking just East. Pull up Tankathon. I'm curious. Like I don't disagree with the logic, but I haven't looked at like it's more than just Pistons and whoever's ahead of them in the East.
I gotcha.
Like
San Antonio
Rockets are closer than.
So Charlotte is up 5.5 games on San Antonio. So like San Antonio's 3, Charlotte's 4.
Okay.
Next is Orlando. So this is really confusing. I'm sorry. San Antonio 2.5 games out of number 1 odds. Charlotte 8 games out of number 1 odds.
God.
Orlando 15.5 games out of number 1 odds.
Okay. So there's like
it's a gulf.
There's 6.
They're out there on an
7,
island.
8 games each direction. Yeah. So they got nothing to lose.
Nothing to play for and nothing to lose.
Yeah. But they're also not like healthy. LaMelo's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Rozier's been playing. Like it's been Gordon Hayward lighting up the Mavs. That doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
No.
Not at all. David has another comment. Giddey is shooting 35.7 from 3 since December 1st. You take out that bad start, that's pretty good efficiency.
That Arya dagger.
Game of Thrones reference. I love
miss it so bad.
Not that last season, though. Silva, I think that's all. We can pump the outro music. Eamon brings up we do got to deal with PJ Washington.
He has been playing really well against the Mavs.
Go get him, Sam. Did he sign an extension?
No.
All right, as the outro music plays, we got to get predictions in. Tuesday against Charlotte. Silva, what happens?
W.
Nick?
Dub.
Back to back, they come back to Paycom again. Wednesday night, play the god-awful Detroit Pistons. Nick, you go first this time.
Dub.
Silva.
I'm covering that one. Dub.
2-0. Friday night, they go to the Indiana Pacers, who may be tanking by that point because they're going to be too far out of the play-in. And the Chicago Bulls, Indiana is very close to jumping from like 7 to like 5th in the standings. Silva, what happens?
Give me another W.
Nick? L.
L.
That would be bad. And then Sunday, before we get back on this podcast, it will be the Suns, the Ayton and Kevin Durant Suns. Silva, what's it look like?
That's a big old L.
Nick's got an L too. You guys got 2-2. There's Silva's got 3-1. Nick's got 2-2. Give me the 3-1, baby. 3-1, and they're gonna be sitting pretty for that play-in tournament. Thank you guys so much for joining our show tonight. If you haven't already, make sure to sub to the YouTube channel. Come join us live, where we have a blast every game, every Sunday. We'll be back with you again 48 hours after the Thunder take on the Charlotte Hornets. I believe Nick has the post game on Tuesday. Question?
Maybe. I don't know. Haven't looked ahead of this week, but
you 100% do. It's on the schedule right here.
Okay, I do.
Silva is with you guys on Wednesday, and then Justin's got that Friday game, and then the whole squad is here next Sunday. Have a great beginning of your week. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.